Hi, Assalamualaikum. We are from group Nftar, and the data business that we choose is Foodpanda for project SL from AM228 to F, subject CSC408. So as you can see on the screen right now, here is our Excel for the project. And first, I will be explaining on our homepage first. So as you can see, this is the current pages and this is our homepage. This homepage consists of rider ID, customer ID, franchise, voucher, customer order, sales, tips, as well as wages. And all of these buttons are actually hyperlinked to the specific page. For example, when you click rider ID, it will go to the rider ID page. In each of the pages, we have included the button to the homepage using the hyperlink. So this is the homepage button, which gonna bring us back to the homepage. And hyperlink can be created by clicking on the insert sections. Then we going to the link. There's the insert link here, as you can see, and then it will pop up whether we want to use a web page or file or this document. So we select this document. So this is how we get all the link connected and all the boxes connected to each of the pages that we desired. So in this case, we are directing the hyperlink to all of our pages, and this method is used in all available hyperlink on our pages. So as you can see, like if we click franchise, the link will be provided in their section where we just have to click the franchise. This is the link, right? Because we are not putting the page right, so we're just gonna give the example. So we just click franchise, and then it will bring us to the franchise pages. So we are going back to the home page. Let's delete the franchise one. So next, I will be explaining on the rider ID. So let's go to our first data, which is our rider ID. Consists of Nurul Fatih Tasni binti Ahmad Rizal, Nazira binti Rizwan, and I myself, Adlin Zara binti Zakaria, and Elin Fazlin binti Omar. And each of the workers were given rider ID, which make them easy to recognize. So on this page also, we are using VLOOKUP method for Foodpanda rider login, where we just insert the rider ID. For example, let's say I want to log in into rider ID no 2021 474056. So it will indicate that this rider ID belongs to. But first, we have to verify that this is our staff ID. So this thing will pop up information. Are you sure this is your staff ID? So we click OK, and then as you can see, the rider ID belongs to Adlin Zara binti Zakaria, which as you can see over here is the rider ID and the name Adlin Zara binti Zakaria. How do we insert the rider ID? Is that we go to the data, and then we go for a data validation. So this is how we put the VLOOKUP, which is we use allowed decimal data between minimum C6 until C9. And then this is how the message that you were looking up just now, which is supposed information. Please insert your rider ID, as you can see over here, and then error alert is information. So we just click OK on that. But to be more detailed, we are just going to be showcasing you guys how we put the VLOOKUP. As you can see, we put the VLOOKUP and then we bracket L21 as we use the column for L21 because the rider ID is located on the row 21. C6 is the rider ID first ID, and D9 is the last name of the rider name. And we choose 2 false bracket, and it's come out as what we wanted. And that's how we create the VLOOKUP system. So I'm just going to show you one more example. So we are trying to log in into rider ID name Ilin Fazli binti Omar. So I'm just going to type in her rider ID. I'm just going to confirm that this is our staff ID. And yep, it is belong to Ilin Fazli binti Omar. And next, I will be explaining about our customer ID. So this is our customer ID page, where it consists of all of the customer ID who bought through Foodpanda app through the day, and there are around 20 data started from 137001 until 137020. Next, we will take a look on page franchise, which content of all our restaurant that the customer buy food from for the day. This data in column C is for the no, and column D is the name of the franchise. Number 1 is Sandy's Gourmet, number 2 is Marina Bay Restaurant, and third is Ahmad Cuisine. So this is the 3 restaurants that customer bought their foods from using our Foodpanda service. And there is another column that provide data of customer ID no, and also the name of franchise. And we also using filter to sort out number of order to specific restaurant. So for example, we want to see how many customer buy foods from Marina Bay Restaurant. So we're just going to select Marina Bay Restaurant. And as you can see, this is the customers that bought from the Marina Bay Restaurant. And we are also using the same method, which is the VLOOKUP method, to determine which franchise did our customer go by entering the customer ID. So for example, we want to look for the customer ID no 137013. So you can see he purchased the customer purchased from Ahmad Cuisine. So we are just going to test on this if it's correct or not. So it's correct. So the customer ID no 137013 purchased the foods from Ahmad Cuisine. So this is how we determine and sort out our page for franchise. And throughout the app, we also provide customer with voucher to use and enjoy the benefits. And there are 2 vouchers, which is 50% discount per order, and the code is treat50. And the second voucher is for free delivery using the code HappyPanda. And in the next data, we will be seeing customer order data and the use of this voucher. So this is the pages for the customer order, and as you can see, there is the column for number, date of purchase, track of time ordering, customer ID number, staff ID number, name of franchise, total RM, tips that the staff of Foodpanda get, voucher, delivery fee, and grand total. And delivery fee and grand total depend on the voucher used by the customer. So for these pages, we are also using the filter formula to actually sort out which franchise we want to see first and the total order that they get from. So for the customer number 1, which is the ID code is 137001, and the staff that were handled the customer is with the ID of 2021-835146, and the name of the franchise that the customer purchased is Sandy Gourmet, and the total ringgit that the customer purchased is 70 ringgit and 80 cents, and the customer give 6 ringgit as a tip to the staff ID that were mentioned. And the customer also using the voucher Happy Panda. So as we can, if you remember, for the code Happy Panda, the voucher indicate for a free delivery. So the first customer get the free delivery since the customer using the free delivery code, so there is no charges on delivery fee. So the grand total for the customer number 1 is 76 ringgit and 80 cent. So why is 76 ringgit 80 cent when it's a free delivery? Because we do calculate also tips that were given to the staff, so we can know how much that the customer actually spend for Foodpanda. To make it easy for the comparison, let us see the Ahmad Cuisine first. So this is the customer that purchased from Ahmad Cuisine. There's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 order for the Ahmad Cuisine. And after that, we're going to look on Marina Bay Restaurant. There are total number of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 order for Marina Bay Restaurant. And the last one, we're going to take a look on the Sandy Gourmet. There's only 4 order, making Marina Bay Restaurant is the most purchased for the customer. And the total order and the grand total for the day is 1,867 ringgit and 60 cents for the total. Meanwhile, for the grand total is 1,461 ringgit and 45 cents. And next, we are going to take a look at the page of sales. So this is the data that contain sales that made by each of the mentioned rider ID for the day, which is for the date 2 February 2022. For staff ID number 2021-85146, the staff actually made sales first on the Sandy Gourmet for 70 ringgit and 80 cents, and the staff received 6 ringgit as a tips using the voucher Happy Panda and also delivery fee, and the grand total is 76 ringgit and 80 cents. So this is basically the data for all of the sales made by our rider. And in this page also indicate that total received by franchise without using the voucher. So for Sandy Gourmet, the total sale is 324 ringgit and 40 cents, and the grand total is 235 and 60 cents, and this deduct the tips. Second is Marina Bay Restaurant, total 882 ringgit and 20 cents, and the grand total is 719 ringgit and 35 cents. Meanwhile, for Ahmad Cuisine, total sale is 661, and the grand total sale is 506.50 cents after we deduct the tips for the staff. In this pages also, we use the pivot data to the pivot chart actually to determine which restaurant have the most purchase for the day. So how we do it is this: we go to the insert and then we click the pivot table, and this is how the outcome of the pivot table after we click on the pivot table. So as you can see here, franchise under Foodpanda, the name is Marina Bay Restaurant, made the most sales for the day with the grand total of 790 ringgit and 35 cents, making it the first place restaurant that received the most sales. and the second is Ahmed Cuisine, and the last one is Sandy's Gourmet. So this is our sale data. And next we are going to look on the tips received by each of their staff. In this data, we actually include number, date, track of time ordering, customer ID, staff ID, and also tips received by the rider. So as you can see here, we are also using the same method, which is filter, to determine how many ringgit does the staff receive and which staff receive the most tips. So we actually include the total tips received by a rider, which is rider ID 2021835146 for the name Nurul Fatin Tasnim binti Ahmad Rizal, received the highest tips, which is RM40 ringgit. So how we determine this? Of course, we have to calculate the tips received by the rider ID, but to make it easier, we just have to choose one by one to make it easy to calculate straight away without have to look one by one. So this is how we do it. We just use the same method, which is we use the filter, and then we're just going to apply this, and then we calculate all of this, making the total of 40. And then we are going to look on Nazira binti Rizwan, and this is how we calculate the total tips for Nazira binti Rizwan. And next we are going to look on rider Adlin Zahira, the tips that she made for the day. So this is total amount of tips that the rider Adlin received. And the last one, we're going to take a look on the last rider, which is Ilin Fazlin, and this is the total tips that she got, which is 60 ringgit. So the total tips received is valid. So just select all, and it will just come back as the original data. And we are going to take a look on the last page, which is wage. So this is how we calculate wages for each rider in a day. So we have a column number, date, staff ID number, total order delivered, RM ringgit or per order, total order the rider received, total sales received by the rider, total tips received by the rider, also bonus and grand total wage per day. So how we determine that the rider going to get the bonus is that those who those who get order 5 or more than 5 will receive more than 5 delivery or more than 5 delivery will receive bonus. So for rider ID 2021835146, she has made a total order deliver 7. Therefore, she received bonus for RM3 ringgit. And also for 2021603376, she has made order deliver total of 5. Therefore, she received RM3 ringgit, since the bonus will only be given if you successfully deliver 5 order or more than 5. So making the total number total wage per day for the first staff ID number is RM85 ringgit. Second ID is RM55 ringgit. Third is 46 ringgit, and the last rider RM40 ringgit. And as you can see here, this is our rider ID and rider name for our references. And this is so far our Excel project, and also our raw data that contains of rider ID, customer ID, franchise, voucher, customer order, sales, tips and wages that I have shown you previously. And this is our Foodpanda Excel project, and I hope that you enjoy our presentation. Thank you and have a good day.